Hello and welcome to this short tutorial on how to create mirror edges, mirror wrapping for canvas prints. I'm working on the premise that the image is going to be 10 by 8 and that the wrapping edges are 1.5 inches deep. So we need to create a document. Let's go to File, New. Now I've already created a preset which is for a 10 by 8 canvas. The dimensions are 13 by 11, so I've added 3 inches to the width and the height. I'm going to include margins of 1.5 inches, so that defines the border, and then the center part where the margin is the original 10 by 8 image. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we are. So this is where the 10 by 8 image is going to go, and around the edge is where we're going to duplicate images and then mirror them. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. So I press Z on the keyboard and just pull to the left. I've got a bit of play space around it. Press V on the keyboard now. And there are a couple of ways of getting the image in. So File, Place the image. And then you just click in the center. And then just position the image so it snaps to the borders. I've pre-done a few images. So I've already cropped them to 10 by 8. And it's always a good idea, if you're going to do this, preset your images. It makes things a lot easier. You can, however, use a rectangle as a clipping mask. So you would size the rectangle, you could use the margins, snap to the margins. So as long as you've got snap to margins on, the rectangle would snap to the margin, like so, and you get rid of the fill and the stroke. And then you would nest an image in there. This image isn't actually an oversized image, so it will nest quite easily, but I'm just going to show you how to nest. So you drag it in and you pull it over to the right until this bar indents in, and then you let go. And then that image becomes nested, and as you can see, the image is now effectively kind of cropped. You can't see this part of the image. If you press the V key, you can position it, move it around, and what it's doing is it's just clipping the image like so. But I don't need to do that because I've already resized the image to a 10 by 8, so I can get rid of that and I can drag the image in. Just makes it a little bit easier if you do a little bit of work beforehand. So now what we need to do is we need to start duplicating this image and then fitting it around the edges and flipping it so that it's a mirror of the edge. So there are a couple of ways of duplicating the image. One is Command J, and then you can just drag the image up like so. Another way is, and this is the way that I'm going to use for the rest of the tutorial, is the Option key, drag up, let go of the Option key, and then position the image. It's Control on Windows, but I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to say Option. But if you're on Windows, just replace Option with Control. So now we need to flip this image so that it reflects this top part. And the way that we do that is to say Shift V, and it flips it. Now I've already configured the shortcut keys for this. So flip horizontal is Shift H, flip vertical is Shift V. You probably won't have that set, but you can actually do that. You can configure it in the keyboard shortcuts option. Select photo, arrange, and then normally it will appear like this, and you scroll down, go to the flip horizontal, flip vertical, click in here, press Shift H to put that shortcut in, and then do a similar thing with the vertical, which is Shift V, and then close it down, and you will have the option pressing Shift H and Shift V to horizontally flip and vertically flip. Just makes things a little bit easier when you can use keyboard shortcuts instead of having to go to the menu all the time and clicking on these. So now we need to duplicate the duplicate, and again, Option key and drag, let go of the Option key and position. And now we need to flip this one horizontally. So Shift H, and you get the symmetry, the reflection. And we need to duplicate this. So again, Option, drag, let go of Option and position. And it's already flipped, so you don't have to flip this one. So now we've got the top three. We can group all of these, and you can do that by shift clicking, or you can select them in the layers panel, and then we can press Command G, Control G on Windows to group them. And so now we're duplicating the group. So again, Option, drag, let go, and position. And we don't need to flip these because they're already flipped, so that makes that little job a little bit easier. Now we need to click back on the center image, and we need to fill the left and the right sides. It's fairly easy to do. So Option and drag to the left, let go of Option and position. And again, we need to flip this horizontally, so Shift H. And again, we need to duplicate this image and drag it over to the right. So Option, click and drag, let go of Option and position. And again, we don't need to flip this because it's already been flipped on this side. And that is pretty much it. You've now got your document. You've got all your mirror imaged edges. But what if you wanted to replace that image? And you didn't want to do all of this option clicking, duplicating and flipping. So now you've got a template, a 10 by 8 template. If you pre-configure some of your images to be 10 by 8, you can now replace all of those images, and all of this mirroring will stay in place. And we can do that via the resource panel, the resource manager. And you'll have 9 images in all underneath this, like so. And you can replace them. If I click on replace, and we can click on road to nowhere. Click on that and open. So now all of the images that are mirrored again, but it's a different image. And you can do this again. So let's try Bearded Man. Let's go back to the original. And again, we get it all back to normal. It's all about just pre-thinking things out and making it as easy as possible for yourself. What you can do now is you can actually just save this document. And every time that you want to print a 10 by 8 canvas with a 1.5 inch border, all you have to do is open this up and replace the image with a 10 by 8 image. You save yourself a lot of trouble just by thinking things through and pre-planning. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and I hope you get something out of it.